everybody, and welcome to Bourbon Bites. We are in a new location. First of all, yes, there's still a bit of a mess, so I do apologize for the boxes everywhere and a little bit of a crazy setup, but it's a work in progress. So, this is my new, I guess, location where I'm going to be doing these streams from. Probably gonna have green screen more often than not. As you can tell, like there's a lot you can see, and I'm a very messy person, so it's cleaned up a little bit today, but the best I could do. But welcome. Good to see so many faces here. Shout out to everyone here. There's Joseph Brazo, Don Nishida, Todd Koopa, Terrence Scott. I think it's the first time seeing you here. Welcome. Trev Wilson, as always. Perry from This Is My Bourbon podcast. If you missed his stream, go check his replay. Lil, Donnie, Joseph Brazo. I don't know if I already said your name. Probably did. Yes. So, thank you guys for hanging out tonight. I'm doing something a little bit different. It's been a while since I've visited some scotches in general. Don, thank you so much. I'll wait for your little animation to come up, but so I don't do scotches too often on this channel, and full disclaimer, I'm a bourbon channel. I may get some pronunciations wrong. I may get some facts wrong. So if you're watching this for facts on scotch, I defer to the experts over in the chat over there. They know more than me. Cheers, Don. Let's get something poured for the super chat. Really appreciate it, man. So I think, even though we're doing Compass Box today, which I'll show you guys what we're doing there in a bit, I thought I would start with something a little more available and accessible in terms of price. I'm going to start with this bottle of, I know, don't turn me off, I promise. This is the famous Gruss, but this is their bourbon cask finish. It still is a pretty budget pour. I paid $15 for this. I know it was on sale. Oh, thank you, Donna. Yeah, I mainly created that screen right there for, like, if I have to go grab a bottle, like, I can just pull up my little, I call it my intermission screen. I just want to test it out there, so make sure it played okay, but glad you guys could hear it and see it. So do you guys have experience with this? Especially the cheaper brand. I know it probably, some of you may have vomited a little bit when I pulled this out. Although I have not had the regular one. I've had this one, and I'm pretty much digging it. I mean, for $15. Let me make that very, very clear. $15. So what are you guys drinking? Okay, so Brian Bernanke has some Lagavulin 16. Man, I feel like you and I talk about that all the time. I love Lagavulin 16. I think it's one of my most favorite scotches that I've tried. Trying to get into scotch, I love those notes on that whiskey. Gruss, it's pronounced Gruss, right? Or I think I googled this. Is it grouse or Gruss? I say Gruss. I don't know. Like, again, no, pronunciation is gonna be all wrong tonight. The naked. Yeah, I've heard good things about that one, Joshua. I've heard that one, and there's like a smoky one that's also good. So this one, like I said, this is the Bourbon American Cask series. So figured, it's probably good to start with like a budget blend, like, because Compass Box is known for their blends. Like, that's their thing. They source incredible whiskey. Their master blender, I think, is I did not say his name, but he is known in the industry for being like one of the best with the Scotch blends. So I wanted to start with something that's low per. This is 40% ABV. Grouse. Is it grouse? Maybe. It's the bird, yeah. Grouse, goose, whatever. Grouse. You're probably right. It's probably grouse. Here we go. Off to a great start, right? Again, I'm not familiar with the brand. I know that, like, their cheap stuff is, like, not very liked by the Scotch community. Grouse, like house. Okay, thank you, guys. We're off to a great start here today, aren't we? Grouse. Okay, thank you, guys. Oh, wow, I just spilled whiskey. Off to a wonderful start. But anyways, so yeah, this is their bourbon cask. So what they do is they take their regular blended Scotch, but then they use new charred American oak on this. Maybe not new. Let me check. No, it just says American oak. So I don't know if it's new and charged. It could be used oak. I'm not sure. Yeah, they don't tell you. But I will say, for a budget blend, these cask series they've been putting out, I've enjoyed this one. I'm curious to try more of them. This is the first one that I've bought. Smoky Grouse, which was decent. Yeah, I've heard good things. I've heard decent things, but the naked one I've heard is like the best one. Yeah, it's very. So they tell you right on the bottle. They say smooth with caramel notes. yeah, that's pretty much what you get. 40% ABV, not going to be that strong. Caramel, I mean, that's a very typical note, especially with American oak. I don't know. I just think for a cheap blended Scotch, sometimes I'm curious for a cheap blended spot just to to get started with the day. Not get started with the day, not like at 8 a.m. But I'm saying get started with my drinking. Like I wanted something light and very approachable, and I think this fits the bill. So Terrence says it's probably a refill cast. You're probably right. I actually thought it did say new American oak until I took a closer look and it just says American oak. So, but I do think it brings out there are a lot of bourbon-esque characteristics with this one that I don't get on a lot of scotches. So I appreciate what they did with doing at least something different with the cask series here. Thank you, Steven. Like I was telling Perry, lighting. I'm still working it out. I got some Philips hues going on over here, but it's still very bright. The problem is this back window. It keeps blowing out everything, so I have to fill my face with light to kind of stand out. So I'll work on it. Like I said, I may use a green screen more often, but breakfast scotch. Hey, I mean it's pretty breakfasty. Not gonna lie, it's pretty. It's not quite maple syrup, but it's very very strong. It's almost maybe a muffin, like a cinnamon toast crunch muffin. Never had it, but that sounds delicious. I just wanted to reset my palate a bit with this. That's the reason I pulled this out. I think it would be a good one to reset my palate with. Between each of these pours, I was just drinking some Elijah Craig along with Perry. So I'm taking a little bit of a leap of faith into the world of Scotch. But I'm glad you guys are here to help me through it and tell me how to pronounce things. At least, I just don't want to give out misinformation. I feel bad whenever that happens. So we're just gonna taste through it. Again, I'm a bourbon guy, but love experimenting, especially with whiskey. I guess other things do. What a weird segue. Anyways, Jack Daniel's Johnny Walker Black is your go-to blend. Double price of Grouse, but worth it. I do agree. Actually, the funny thing is the very first Scotch I ever bought was the Johnny Walker Black. That was actually the first one I bought. I'd heard good things about it. I didn't want to go really far in the deep end with the single malts. Too aggressive for me. I had to ease into it. But Johnny Walker Black is actually what I started with. So hey, there's that. New riff port. Hey, whatever. You do you, Steven. I'll probably pull out the bourbon again when we go to our after party. Which, by the way, if you're new here, first of all, welcome. Second of all, I do an after party after every live stream over on Patreon. It's like a Google Hangout. We have a ton of fun. If you're interested, anyone $10 and up on Patreon is. Sorry, if you guys notice, I keep not looking at you. I used to have my webcam right here on this ring light, but now I have it over here. So I'm literally staring at this like I'm talking to you guys. Sorry about that. Anyways. Yeah, so link down in the description below. I might be able to send a message here, or one of the mods may get to it before me. No, it didn't come through, so. But check out Patreon. The link is in the description below. Like I said, the $10 level and up, y'all are all invited to the after party. If that's a little much for you, which I totally understand, especially during these times, this Saturday we're having our our July monthly Patreon hangout, and that's for anyone $5 and up. So if you could, again, you don't have to, it's totally optional. If you have $5 to spend a month, those monthly Patreon hangouts, we've only done one so far, but these guys know they get pretty crazy. They're pretty fun. We go for a couple hours. I'm planning to play some games tonight. We're gonna have some interactive stuff. Maybe a giveaway. We'll see. Still work out the details on that. But if you're interested in that, I would love you to check out the Patreon. Of course, thank you, Trav Wilson, always on the keyboard. He has it on command in everybody's stream. So thank you, Trav. But yes, if you guys feel inclined, like I said, if you get your $10 pledge in tonight before the end of my stream, you are automatically going to be sent the link to the after party. So just totally optional, but I love hanging out with you guys, and these guys can attest to it. We always have a great time. So, but for now, the after parties are pretty wild. Well, yeah, Steven, the after parties are wild, but the hangouts, the monthly hangouts, those get really crazy. After parties, I'm going to try to tone it down a little bit because I tend to go on for way too long, so we'll see. Especially because I'm taking up the whole living room now. Justin is not going to be happy about that, so we'll see. Yeah, so let's move on to what we're here tonight for, which is the Compass Box. So let me finish this real quick. That you are, Trev, that you are. So I'm going to see if my second, will this look good? We'll see. Oh, okay, there we go. So color matching isn't perfect, but so this is the Malt Whiskey Collection from Compass Box. It's 350 milliliter bottles. I thought this was a great way to get started with them. Like I said, I've never had anything from their distillery before. So this comes with 3 of them. So these are their most popular like standard releases. So over here we have the Peat Monster, which we will not be starting with. I think we're going to go order-wise. I think we're going to go with Spice Tree, Story of the Spaniard, and then to Peat Monster. I think that one's pretty intense. Let's save that one for the end. So, and I'll go into detail about what each of these are as we go through them. But I think Spice Tree is where we should start. Steven says he thinks Justin should be including the after parties. I try. I like. He was like, he literally took a bottle of whiskey in there with him because he's like, I don't want to come out and grab whiskey. I'm like, oh, but you can make that like your appearance. Like, that's your thing. You like pop on screen to say hey. But yeah, so we're gonna start with Spice Tree. So back to me. There we go. Again, testing out some new stuff here. Hopefully you guys appreciate the not theatrics, but the little extra effort than normal. So this is Spice Tree. So let me see if you guys can see. Let me. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's a little out of focus, but so this is. Come on, can you focus? No. Again, testing out new equipment here. So this is, of course, a mini bottle of their Spice Tree. Oh, I was almost there. So this one is really interesting, and I'm really excited to start with this one. So I'm gonna pull up some info here. Let's see. Is that gonna work, or did I already close the window? Oh, it should be here. Give me a second. Let me just make sure. Yeah. There we go. Where is it at? Come on. Come on. Man. I had this all set up too. So I'm just gonna pull up the what goes into the Spice Tree. So let me add this real quick in. I'm not sure why it's not showing up, but let me show it real quick. Because I do want you guys to see this. Not that. There we go. Okay, so I had to re-add it in. I don't know why. Sorry about that. So this. Here's some info about this. Yeah. We'll work with it. Again, testing out new equipment here. So this is not Spice Tree. That's Peat Monster. There we go. Okay, we got it. Like you said, thank you guys for working with me. Yeah, so we're doing Spice Tree first. I didn't want to start with the peat. I think that might be a little too much to start with. But we're going to start with Spice Tree. So Spice Tree, I love the story about this one. So this one is very oak influenced. And being a bourbon guy, I love that. So what they did was they focused on... where was the info about the tree itself? Hold on, it was up here somewhere. Yeah, 195-year-old French sessile oak they used for this. So they are really big on the French oak, especially with Spice Tree. So what that reminded me of being a bourbon guy. Wait, should I not do Spice Tree first? Well, no, the Spaniard is sherry. So I thought Spice Tree is like oak, Spaniard sherry, and then peat to end with. So I'm gonna do Spice Tree, but I mean, feel free if you're doing the tasting along with me, go whatever order you want. But with Spice Tree, they used a really, I'll show you guys this right here. So this is the info of like what went to the bottle, which is, by the way, is what I love about Compass Box. They are so straightforward. They tell you everything that's in your bottle, or everything that they can tell you that's in the bottle. Some things they can't tell you, but so what this reminded me of with the focus on the French oak and the toasted oak, it reminded me a lot of these Maker's Mark Private Selects. This is actually the Rob Samuel Select, but one of the things they do is they do like 5 different staves that they finish things in. Okay, yeah, we'll do Spice Tree. So what Maker's Mark does is they use French oak as well. They use a French mocha, French spice, and French cuvee. Focus is still not right. I think it's because I have my background too. Oh well. So anyways, it reminds me of what Maker's Mark is doing. So with this one, like I said, I don't know if you guys can see this. Hopefully you can. So it's a blend of 3 different whiskeys. Highland whiskeys. So they have, I'm not going to say the names, Kleinelish, Dalwhinnie, and Tient. Oh, I've never heard of the last one. The first 2 I've heard of. The last one I have not heard of. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. But there you guys go. 60% of it is the Kleinelish. But then what they do is they do different toasts on the whiskey. So they have a high vanilla toast, they have an infrared toast, mocha toast, and they do a first fill American Standard barrel. So again, very similar to what they're doing with Maker's Mark. So that's what intrigued me the most about this starting out. That's kind of why I wanted to start with that one, because it's something that I'm most familiar with, especially with those different toasting and the different oak involved. So we're going to start with that one. So let me go ahead and get that poured. By the way, Brian Brennicky, thank you so much. He got his Bourbon Bite shirt this week. Check out my merch at bourbonbites.threadless.com. Brian, I love all my mods. I love all y'all. Yes, I do have shirts available. I actually just added today. This is like a sneak preview. I haven't announced it. I just added a mask. It has either the Bourbon Bites logo, but I also added another mask that says insert bourbon here, or insert bourbon, like you know how the insert coin like on a video game, like an arcade machine. I thought it was just like a random concept I had. I'm like, this will be fun for a mask. So that is up there now. There's a premium one that's a little pricey, but there's a standard mask that's a little cheaper. If you're interested, we still have to wear masks here, so I'm not going to be I'm going to be ordering one for myself too, and I'm not looking at you again. I'm sorry. I have a ring light that used to have my webcam in it. I'm sorry. Okay, spice tree. Yeah, you guys are already moving on to the nose. Let me move the grouse out of the way, and let's pull out some spice tree. So I'm hoping with this other webcam I can show you the color a bit more. Insert knob here. Yeah, one of my friends made a joke saying like, you should have one that says insert dickle. I was like, okay, first of all, I would feel weird wearing that, but no one in their right mind is going to buy that. I mean, unless you're going to wear it to a whiskey event, no one's going to buy an insert dickle here shirt, especially guys. Like, it's not a very common thing, but yeah, so I held off on the knob and dickle jokes, but those might come later. We'll see how successful this one is, and then if we're into that, then we'll try it. But so hopefully maybe we can see the color here. It might be a little close. Yeah, it's also a little tinted too, but it's a pretty light color. It looks a little darker on camera. So you can see it right there. It's not that bad, but it's pretty light. Again, it's Scotch. I should not be judging it from bourbon standards. So this is Spice Tree. So you guys are talking about the nose. What are you guys getting on the nose? Donnie, you have some poured. I don't know if Steven, did you say you had some poured, or you're just remembering it? Is anyone drinking any Compass Box with this? Let me know, because these are my first 3 that I've ever had before. That nose is very pleasant. It's very light. I mean, it reminds me of a tea. Like, the first thing I'm getting is like a tea note. I'm trying to think of what specifically I'm getting from it. Picks it up on Facebook. Maybe in Vegas, Brian. If we should all get matching insert dickle shirts or masks for Vegas. We'll see. So it's very, very tea-like on the nose, and I think the first tea that comes to mind to me is like a chamomile tea. I used to drink that a lot in college. Like, it kind of helped me go to sleep a bit. It really reminds me of chamomile, like a chamomile like tea. Donnie's saying he's getting a lot of spices on it. Yeah, I mean, definitely. And the reason they call it Spice Tree is because that old French oak, especially toasting it, brings out a lot of like baked good spices. Yeah, definitely herbal tea. That's like my first impression of it. But it's still it's very sweet. It's very like, almost like, I guess I would say there's vanilla, not as much caramel. The Famous Grouse had a lot of caramel. This isn't as much caramel. It's definitely vanilla. Let's go ahead and give it a taste. So cheers, you guys. Cheers. I'll show you in the after party. I'll show you all what my setup looks like. You'll know why I keep doing it the wrong direction. What's the proof on this? That's pretty. Oh, it's 46% ABV. I was gonna say definitely higher proof than 40. Oh, that's nice. It has a very cereal. It's like a cereal note to end with. Starts very herbal, but then goes very cereal. And I think that's like typical of like malt scotches, or like Highland scotches. My bad. Yeah, they don't tell you much on here, but let me go to the back of the box. What does it say about here? Not that box. This box. They say it's a rich, intense malt whiskey with an underlying character of dried fruit, notes of baking spices, and accents of toasty oak. aged in custom casks. Yeah, that toasted oak is there. Not quite as much as like we were talking on Perry's stream. Someone mentioned that they just picked up their first. I think it might have been Torrance, if you're still here, or it might have been someone else. They said they just picked up toasted marshmallow as a note on whiskey that they'd never gotten it before. I don't quite get that. Like normally when I have a toasted barrel, like the Michter's toasted barrel, that is like the dominant note. This one's a little bit different. Danny's Candles is trying Compass Box Delilah. Oh, interesting. I don't know anything about that. What's the story with that one? Flavored oatmeal. Interesting, Donnie. I'm not getting as much fruitiness as they say I should be getting. Of course, notes are subjective, but it's not really fruity. To me, it's still very light and herbal. I mean, it's very approachable. I mean, if you're a bourbon drinker like I am, this is a great entry into Scotch, especially for tonight, because we're going into some really crazy directions with this. You'll see coming soon what I mean. It's very approachable. Um, to me, it's more cereal than oatmeal, Donnie. But I see where you're going with that. I now the finish. I think the finish is where the berry comes out. I get a lot more like strawberry on the finish. It's still a very very sweet, like a vanilla, like a strawberry cream versus like a fresh ripe strawberry. It's like a strawberry flavor. Like I don't know if you guys have had some of those like Japanese candies that are coated with like a strawberry yogurt. I think this is very yogurty. Actually, now that's a yogurt. Let me try that again. Yogurt. Oh, that really puts me in a different mindset when nosing this. It is almost like a strawberry yogurt. Donnie, you got oatmeal. Do you get yogurt now? To me, it's like a flavor, like a strawberry flavored yogurt. Delilah's is a punk rock bar that the blend pays homage to. Oh, that's awesome. Homage, whatever. I'm really bad. I'm from South Carolina. We don't pronounce things right over there. Just notice my camera is very bright. I'm going to try to... I think it's because the sun's going down outside. Let's see this little... it's not that much better. Whatever. We'll fix it at the after party. I would say fix it in post, but there is no post. Let me... Oh, there we go. Okay, we're starting to get a little normal now. Yeah, like I said, the lighting is going to have to be like a work in progress because new place. Yeah, there we go. That's better, I think. So, faint strawberry note. Yeah, it could be power suggestion. So Danny says that American oak and sherry cask, not much smoke, thank goodness. Oh, the Delilahs. Well, now that you're talking about sherry, I think we should move on to the story of the Spaniard. So, let me leave this though, because I think this was a good one to come back to. So, let me get it out of the box. Thank you guys for bearing with me a bit with this new setup. It's different for me, but I don't know. I think I like it. I especially like having two cameras. Like, let me see. Oh, come on. I can't focus it. I'm using a very old webcam for this part. Oh wait. Oh man, it was almost there. I'll work on this before next stream. This one will be in focus all the time. I say. Yes. Come on. One more try. Come on, focus. Focus. Nope, it's not gonna focus. Oh well. It was an attempt, okay? I tried. So let's go ahead and pour this one. I'll tell y'all a little bit more about the story of the Spaniard. This one I think was the one that I was most excited to try. Because those of you that know me with Scotch, y'all know I love sherry. Sherry is my favorite finish on a Scotch. Especially like peated Scotches, I think I always go for like a sherry finish peated Scotch as some of my favorites. Hey Brandon, what's up? Good to see you. No problem. You missed some of my fumbling with my cameras and stuff, but we're going now good, I think. So let me show y'all. So that's Spice Tree. So this is Story of the Spaniard. There's a picture of the logo. I'll let you guys see that since I couldn't get in focus. There's the logo there. So they really do awesome work on their labels. They feature classic art, especially like there's another one. It's like Tobias. I'm new to the brand, but I love their label design. It's so unique. So with the Story of the Spaniard, the really interesting about this one is it's completely inspired by sherry casks. So it tells you the story where like the person went to Spain, they tried whiskey that was they tried sherry for the first time, and they fell in love with it. So that's the story behind it. 48% of this whiskey has been aged in ex-sherry casks, and 25% of it was aged in red wine casks. Um, so tons of wine influence. Again, I love that wine influence on Scotch. So I'm very, very excited for this one. Oh, Sherry Musty Perry. It's also got a nod to New York City, so I'm about the Spaniard. Oh, awesome. Yeah, so either sherry wine cast or sherry style wines is what this is inspired by. So I poured a little bit of that here. Oh yeah, Donnie, I completely agree with that. The nose on it is completely different. It still has a little bit of that like cereal note. Like I guess that's just the malt. Like the one that was dominant here, it's like kind of in the background on the sherry one. I have a phenomenology, and I will keep that bottle and box just for the art. Oh yeah, I love the art. It's amazing. I don't know what phenomenology is though. So this doesn't come across as a traditional sherried Scotch. I don't know about you, Donnie. You've had experience with like sherried Scotches. It's got a little bit of that like bright fruit, but it's not quite as deep and dark. I mean, even color wise, I don't know if you guys can see, but it's not as dark. Normally, a sherry finished Scotch or like a sherry. I keep saying sherry finished. It's not sherry finished. Aged in sherry barrels. Um, Usually, it's a bit darker. More Scotchy to use. Yeah, maybe on the nose. Let me go for a taste though. Cheers, you guys. There's more of this darker berry notes. Not quite like the strawberry of the first one. Still very very cereal and very very not grainy, but it's like very sweet, like a corn puff cereal. The proof on this is about it comes across about the same. Oh, it's actually lower proof, 43%. Okay. It reminds me a lot of I have a Scotch that this reminds me a lot of. Um, so let me scroll down to let me show you guys this. So I don't know if you guys can see that. I'll zoom in a little bit. So this is what this is made up of. So while it's on that, there's a sixth one down below. But while it's on that, I'm gonna go grab the bottle it reminds me of. So be right back. Take a look at that. I'm just gonna go see what the bottle is I'm thinking of. Which by the way, you guys can still hear me. Hey, what's up? Where is it? I'm not gonna be able to find it. I don't think. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Oh well. I have a. It's a 12-year-old, and it's a K&L single barrel select. Yep. Oh, the woes of moving. So I could not find that one. I apologize for that. But I had a Scotch in mind that this reminds me a lot of. I will, if you come to the after party, I'll research this further. I just don't want to spend too long like digging for it. So, um, yeah. So there's the sixth one down below. So that's 5% of recharred barrels. So this is what you're getting in the bottle. What sherry is it finished in? I don't know. I don't think it tells you. The whiskey is made at Aberlour, so it does. It kind of reminds me of Aberlour actually. That's not the one I was thinking of though. So 40% is made at Aberlour, which by the way, their Aberlour, I always mispronounce it. Abunada, is one of my favorite scotches. I love the sherry finish on that one, so I think a lot of that influence is from that. It has that Tianinich. That's wrong. It has that one in it too, though. But oh, and Deanston. I love Deanston. So this has a lot of things going for me. I think Deanston, Aberlour, and that one. I wish some of the guys from my local group were in the chat. They'd be able to tell me what it was. Man, it was a K&L single barrel, but it's from a very prominent distillery. So I'll look that up and find that out for you later. If you're watching the replay, I'll put it down in the description below. By the way, if you're watching the replay, hashtag replay squad, put it down below so you can let me know you made it this far into this stream. About the halfway mark. Actually, exactly the halfway mark. You got me at a good time. So yeah, so a lot of sherry influence on the nose. Second sip was phenomenal. Yeah, this one's growing on me. Like it's really really growing on me. Nose wise, I think it's really opening up. Oh, Steven says if you email them, they'll typically tell you everything in their whiskey. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, they're so open. I don't think I've ever seen a whiskey. Not like I don't really know very many people that blend whiskey. I know a lot of Kentucky distilleries that blend. They are so closed lips about about what's in it. But I think I love how open they are. They even tell you like what percent is in it. I think that is so cool. Very light and bright. Um, I'm trying to pull out specific notes from the sherry that makes it different from other sherries. It's more of so it's less strawberry, but it's still kind of like cherry territory, I would say. Um, hmm. Yeah, that's really interesting. Honestly, so Lil, I know you're here. Um, it reminds me a lot of the Starward Twofold whiskey, which is a Australian whiskey that is finished in Australian red wine casks. This has a lot of the same influence in that one. The difference with that one is it's wheat and barley. This is just straight up barley. So Lil, this if you like the twofold from Starboard, you'd probably like this one. Hmm. I do get some tartness there. I was gonna say citrus earlier, but it's not quite like a citrus tartness. Maybe that's the cherry that I was thinking of, like a cherry. Yeah. So it's really unique. I honestly, and I think the MSRP on this is about $60. I think all of them are about $60. I the first one, the spice tree, it's okay. It's not quite up my alley in terms of what I like. I'd be very happy to have a pour of that though at a bar or a friend's house. Um, the story of the Spaniard though is way more up my alley. Those who know me, the Scotch I dabble in is very sherried Scotch. So this is really up my alley. And for $60, I think I may be picking up a bottle of this. I think the only thing I think would make it a little better if it was higher proof. It's only 43% ABV. If this were higher proof, tart cherry juice. There you go, Donnie. That's what I was getting to. So Donnie, so I didn't mention this earlier, but Donnie's actually tasting the same gift set along with me. Um, he told me to let him know when I was going to do it because he held off on drinking them until I was going to do them. So I appreciate that, Donnie. That's why I'm talking directly to him because it's cool that we're tasting through it together. So Donnie, do you think you prefer Story of the Spaniard or Spice Tree? See, Steven, you're way more informed on that than I am. I'm not good at picking out specific sherry. I don't think they don't tell you on this fact sheet, but I bet you could reach out to them, like you said, and find out. But yeah, I mean, I'm just reading this bottom note. It says a vatting compromises 60% malt whiskey from Kleinelish, and 20% from Delwini. Huh. I don't know what the specific. I'll show you guys what I'm reading. So I'm not sure what their refs. They put a star. Highland malt blend. Okay, gotcha. So, oh wow. So they're like super transparent. So not only are they telling you like the specific things like 40% Abalor, that one, but they're telling you this blend right here. I thought that was how they were being discreet about it. But if you scroll down at the bottom, it tells you exactly what that blend is. That's so cool. I love how transparent they are. Oh, wait, Peat Monster. You're already on a Peat Monster. Yeah, I was holding off on that one. I want to save that one for the end because usually peated whiskey is a good one to end with, not start with. But yeah, man, I like that story of the Spaniard a lot. So I'm gonna move on to the Peat Monster, shall we? What are you guys moving on to? The rest of you that don't happen to have these. I know someone was drinking a different compass box earlier. Steven, you had the new riff. Have you finished it? Have you poured something peated for us? If like you have the most peated scotch out of all of us probably. At least the ones that are here in the chat recently. So let's move on to the infamous Peat Monster. Very excited for this one. I know that seems like something I wouldn't say. Is I'm very excited for a peated whiskey. I am starting to like peated whiskey. I think the reason I like peated Scotch so much is because it's so different from most other Scotches or most other whiskey in general. I think it's what makes it unique. Like I think so. Like when I go to bourbon, I like that caramel, baked good note on like a bourbon, like the toasted vanilla, char, oak bourbon. That's like what I look for in a bourbon. Irish whiskey, I look for that shortbread cookie note that like and like sherry, like shortbread cookie and sherry on Irish whiskey are love it so much. With Scotch, it's I'm still kind of exploring a bit. So I think what I'm drawn to the most in Scotch is the peated whiskeys, and this one is well, you'll I don't know if you can see that. Let me try camera number 2. Let me see. Let's see if camera number 2 can pick it up. Let's give it one less try. Why not? You can kind of see it there. So this guy is a monster. I don't know if you see that. There we go. Wow, that's what I need to do. Look at that artwork. Now the artwork on the actual bottle is a little bit more, a little bigger and a little more detailed, but that is the Peat Monster. So let's go ahead and get into him, shall we? That sounds wrong. Let me rinse my glass real quick. Oh, I have too much water. I'm not gonna. That's gonna spill. I'm not gonna do that. Lil just got home, waiting for Chris to get up. Hey, just in time for the after party. That's what I gotta say. So let's go ahead and pour the Peat Monster, and I'll tell you guys what's in this one. By the way, 20 viewers. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. I feel like that's not like a new record, but like this late in the stream, I really do love that you guys are sticking around and still curious about what I'm doing. Like I said, if you want to come to the after party, you still got time to join the Patreon down in the description below. $10 and up gets invited to the after party, and you can tell me how wrong I am about all these scotches. You're like, your opinion was so wrong, you're trash. Hey, pay me $10 and I'll let you trash talk me for a few minutes before I ban you. But so yeah, this is Peat Monster. So let me show you guys some info about that one. Yeah, Donnie says he's looking forward to my nosing on this one. Oh, me too. Let's see. All right, so let's move on to the Peat Monster. There's the full label there. So it's the same design, but it's like a little more detailed there. So this one is a celebration of Scotch's smoky side. Thank you, Donnie, for the Patreon link. Like I said, you guys, always a lot of fun. And then we have our monthly hangout this weekend, so a lot of fun things coming. But oh, that's accurate. It's a tribute to the smoky side of Scotch. It's a very nice smokiness, though. It doesn't really have like the finish. Like I said, I usually go for like a peated, like finish, like a sherry finish or a port finished peated Scotch. This doesn't have any of that, but it's definitely meaty. This is like a meaty peat. Not necessarily as much of like the what do you say, like the medicinal, or I always say like a doctor's office kind of note. I don't get that, but it's definitely like a smoked meat. Very like bright. It's not fruity in any kind of way, but it's like it's like a light peat, but I know it's not. I know being called Peat Monster, this is not gonna be a light peat. So let's go ahead and give it a taste. Cheers, you guys. Think of bacon before you start to cook it. Okay. It's very bacony, I do say. Wow, that's really lower proof than I would have expected. Maybe I'm just like a proof snob, especially when it comes to Scotch. Like I knew I was with bourbon, but lower proof Scotch, I don't know. It's still growing on me. So Donnie says it's not iodine or briny. No, it's not like a briny Scotch. I like briny, but this isn't that kind of brininess that you would expect, like from a what was the one we were talking about earlier? The Lagavulin. Yeah, it's a very meaty smoke. I'm digging it though. I'm digging it. Oh, so Aaron gives me some info. FYI, the details of Peat Monster on the website is of the new recipe. The one in the sample pack, I believe, is the old recipe. Oh, okay. Thank you for letting me know that, Aaron. Which, by the way, welcome, Aaron. I was waiting for that. There's a bit of a delay there. Brian Brennicky, thank you so much for the super chat. Pete for the win. Hey, speaking your language now, so cheers, Brian. I look forward to hopefully seeing you and Tammy at the after party. If not, hopefully at the monthly hangout this weekend. Yeah, proof snob and Scotch is going to cost me, absolutely. Lil says that Pete's what gets you. Hey, I just think it's the one thing that I attached to with Scotch that I think was growing on me. So Aaron tells me that this is not the right info for this Peat Monster, so I'll show you that just in case you have the new bottle. But apparently I have the wrong info here, so again, it's from their website, don't blame me. It does say 2019 Peat Monster, so like you said, this could be the older one. The current one is from Kalila, Lafroig, and like the Highland Malt blend, but only 1%. 64% Kalila, 35% Lafroig. Aaron, do you happen to know anything about the older release? Because I'm curious. Which, by the way, Aaron, if you're still here, what was the K&L single barrel that we picked from that blind flight that both of us bought a bottle of? I bought 2 bottles of it. I don't have it in front of me, and I wanted to reference it earlier. If you're still here, we both bought it as a 12-year-old. It was a K&L single barrel, but I'm trying to think of the distillery it was from, because I was telling them earlier about the Spice Tree. No, it wasn't the Spice Tree. Sorry, the story of the Spaniard reminded me a lot of that one. I could not think of the name of it, so we'll hide that misinformation there. Donnie says it reminds him of the peated Scotch he had at Vomfoss, first peated Scotch. Interesting. Todd Koopa says he did a Scotch Advent calendar 2 years ago, and they were all barrel-proof single malts. Scotch is so much different at higher proof. Oh, yeah. Dalwhinnie, thank you. Is that not one of the ones that were in that? Hold on, give me a second. No, it wasn't. It was Abalor. Oh, no, there was some of it, though. Hey, I wasn't completely wrong. So, going back to the Spaniard, you know how I told you there was that Highland malt blend that they reference? So that includes 20% from Dalwhinnie. Pronunciation. So I was picking up on that. I think that really came through. But that blending with Abalor, I mean, Aaron of all people knows my Scotch profile. He's the one that's led me into Scotch. Deanston, Abalor, and Dalwhinnie are my go-to Scotches, unless I'm going for peated. Then I go more for the Ardbegs. But oh, thank you. That's good info. Thank you for letting me know. But back to the Peat Monster. So we don't know for sure if that's the actual recipe of this new one. It originally was Kalila, Lafroig, and the malt blend. I honestly, though, from having something recently from Kalila, I still get a lot of Kalila on this. It's definitely not like an Ardbeg. I'm not getting any kind of Ardbeg notes. No worries, Aaron. I was gonna call your name out earlier, but I was like, he's not in the chat, so he's probably not gonna. But you were listening in, so that makes it even worse. Yeah, this is a very meaty. It's meaty in the way, like, so Lafroig I think is more the iodine kind of peat. That's not my. The only Lafroig that I've actually really liked was one that was was it a port cask or a PX cask? I've had a Lafroig that was finished in something that was delicious. Although on the peated level, I either go for like a Lagavulin, which is the brininess that we were talking about earlier, or an Ardbeg. I guess of those three, this is closer to the Ardbeg, but I've had a Kalila, and I'm getting some very familiar notes here. Very smoky, very sweet, though. It's like a sweet barbecue, less of like I said, iodine. Very sweet. Like, I mean, Donnie said bacon earlier. No, there's none of the Band-Aid notes, though. I think, yeah, no, not at all. And I'm very sensitive to that. Lafroig gives me all those Band-Aid notes. This one is more of like a smoked meat. There's like, I guess you could say there's like a hint of that in there, but it's very, very like minor compared to the rest of it. Really though, I'm really digging this for a peated whiskey. I've had Kalila before, and I didn't particularly fall in love with it. This one though, if it's still Kalila, I could be wrong. This could be all Ardbeg. I could be right, but it's very not quite as fruity, which is interesting because this other thing said it was fruity. So maybe that's because when they changed the recipe, it's just like straight up like a sweet. I would say sweet barbecue, like almost like a Carolina style, but like less vinegary, like sweet. Maybe plum. Plum is like a note that I'm kind of pulling out here, but Peat Monster is his jam for sure. Would love higher proof. Oh man, Peat Monster at higher proof. If they did blends at cask strength, I would buy those in a heartbeat. I mean, like I said, my favorite Ardbeg is the Ardbeg Ugadal, the standard release, and that's cask strength. So this amped up to like sits at about like level of intenseness is about like a 6, I would say. But if you turn this up to like 11, you'd really have something special here. So I would like to start kind of getting to like a rating system. I'm still figuring out how I'm going to start rating things, but I think it would be beneficial for me to tell you at the end of the stream my rating for each of them. in terms of like which one I prefer. So we'll start with what we started with here earlier. If y'all missed it, famous grouse. This is the bourbon cask, so it's not just the standard stuff. Out of So I want to do something like cute, like 8-bit. Should we do out of 8? Let's try out of 8. Let's do it. Just experiment here for the first time. Out of 8, I would give this about, for the price, I paid 15, which is way cheaper than it should have been. I would give this about a 2.5 out of 8, the famous grouse. But going into Compass Box, we're going to move to the first one we tried, which was the Spice Tree. So Spice Tree, let me find the little bottle. I already put it up. Oh, they came out with a castrate Peat Monster, Steven. Oh my gosh, if I could source that, that would be amazing. I have not tried Ardbeg Black, Brian. I've heard good things. I've just never tried it. So Spice Tree, I didn't dislike this. I don't think I would buy it though. I would give it a 4.5 out of 5. I like it a little better than average. 4.5. Story of the Spaniard. Not a fan at 2.5 out of 8. Oh wait, no, I was talking about the famous grouse. I thought did I say 2.5? I may have to reconsider that. I think this is probably more 3.5. I don't know if I said 2.5 or 3.5. For the price, I mean, I cannot complain. It's decent. Spice Tree, I would say about 4.5. I didn't dislike it at all. I think it was better than average. Story of the Spaniard, though, I gotta say that's about a 6 out of 8. I would give this a 6 out of 8, especially at the $60 price. We're going out of 8. Yeah, I'm trying something new, little here. I'm trying to go with like 8-bit video game. We'll do it. Yeah, out of 8. So that was a 3.5 out of 8. This is a 4. No, Spice Tree was a 4.5 out of 8. Story of the Spaniard, I would say 6 out of 8. It's getting up there, and like what I like. Again, if this was cast strength, oh, I'd be in love. Now, final pour of the night was the Peat Monster. I would probably give that. I would give that a 6.75 out of 8. It's almost a 7 out of 8, but I don't want to like judge myself too highly. I think the only thing it's lacking is that proof and maybe some kind of a finish, like a sherry finish or a port finish. I think that's the only thing that deterred me from really, really loving this. However, trying this at cast strength, I bet it would be really up there in score. So that's just first impressions. Again, new scoring system, could be totally off. But yeah, just want to put that out there. But I guess that brings us to the end here tonight. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. And if you're watching the replay, thanks for watching the full stream. Like I said, we're doing our after party right after the stream. So last chance to get your $10 or up Patreon pledge in. The link is down in the description below. We're going to be drinking a little bit more of these tonight, but I'm going to probably transition a little bit back into bourbon. We'll see. But yeah, so I appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. Until next time, 6.75 is the average of those two out of 7 or 8. I don't know. It's a new system. I gotta work out the kinks. But cheers, you guys. And I was gonna say big thank you to Compass Box, but they didn't send me shit. Big thank you to myself for buying this. No, just kidding. But really enjoyed it, and I definitely will be picking up more Compass Box. I may actually go grab a bottle of the Story of the Spaniard very soon after the stream. So online. I'm not gonna be driving anytime soon. Don't worry. Cheers, you guys. Thank you, Donnie, for tasting along with me, and thank you guys for watching. And until next time, I'm Clifton, and this is Bourbon Bites whiskey reviews. Which before we go, I'm starting. I almost forgot my last little thing. Hold on. I'm starting my new Saturday night stream this weekend. This Saturday night we're streaming Buffalo Trace kosher whiskey with some Christian video games. It's gonna be pretty crazy. So that'll be right before the hangout this weekend. So if you want to check it out, it's already on my channel. So if you want to set a reminder, you can do it there. But yeah, I'll see y'all guys at the after party, and the rest of you, I will see you on Saturday. It's gonna be a really fun time. So cheers. We'll see you next time. I messed up my outro because I was like, oh, I gotta say the last thing. So cheers, you guys, and have a wonderful 2 days until I see you again.